Good day, everyone. I am Tracy Nieuwenheyzen-Petersen, and I'm here to tell part two of the story of Social What PTY LTD. I am a registered social worker, but I would like I like to call myself an entrepreneurial social worker, starting this little small initiative. So, firstly, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to watch and stop and, just embrace what I have to say. And also, please do like, follow, share any of the links that I have attached on this post to keep up with the journey and the products and the story. With that being said, I want to bust one of the myths that I think a lot of customers have approached me with in conversation and things like that. As I do work one on one with of my customers, I also create special items for them together with them based on what their needs is, and that is I do make each and every one of my products by hand myself. When I do speak in my post about us and we and our, I am speaking by the grace of God into existence my future employees that I will be having as this business grows with your help. So yes, for now it's a one-man show with God on my side, but we gotta keep going. So before I start telling the story, I do want to just release a disclaimer because I do believe in kindness, being kind to yourself, being kind to one another, because we are here to share stories, share experiences, help each other grow, help each other learn, and not break each other down. So sometimes it might be what is perceived to be negative things in my story, but it's all a part of who I am and who I became today and how my products came into existence. So, firstly, the story is going to be about my parents. So I do want to say my mother was an amazing mom. She raised us to the best of her ability with what she knew and what she had. My dad did have a substance use disorder, but he did what he was able to do. So when I do mention things, I am not trying to bring anyone down. I'm just sharing a part of me. So the story that I'm going to share is my passion for improving child and parent and family communication. And from that story stemmed what is my communication jaws. So I remember I was a young teenager, and I had the biggest crush on this boy. We were spending some time together and things like that. And I didn't know what these feelings were that was bubbling up and stuff. And I remember coming to my mom, and she was busy in the kitchen, and I dreaded asking her this question because, like I mentioned in my previous post, I come from very conservative family where children are seen and not heard. You don't necessarily have these open conversations. To add to that, I'm also a late born. So when I say that, in Afrikaans we call it the laat lammetjie. So my parents are much older than the traditional parents were back then. My parents had me late on, and there's a big age gap between my siblings and I. My eldest sibling is 17 years older than me, and the one before me is 8 years older than me. And I'm the only girl. So by the time I came, my parents had given up on having babies, let alone a girl. So I walk into this kitchen multiple times and back. I remember the story very distinctly. And eventually I pulled up the courage to ask my mom, like, how do you know you are in love? Because that's what I knew. That's what I knew from the soapies, from the stories on television and things like that. And she blatantly just said to me, "You're not in love." And shut down that conversation. I remember how devastated I felt, not knowing what to do with that answer, not knowing what these feelings were. And now, having gone through the relationships that I have, having learned what I had, I understand those feelings I had back then as a crush that I had on someone. But like, if it was that my mom was able to have that conversation with me, there's so many experiences that would have been different in my life. And the same with my dad. I don't know much about his life or his experiences or what led to his circumstances of his substance use disorder, because of that conservative nature of how my family grew up. My dad, I know, was one of the older siblings. There was a lot of weight on his family. I don't know many of his siblings either. Um, and still till today, when I would ask him questions, he'll be like, "Nee, my kind by gesondheid, ek kan nie daaroor praat nie." So still not open for discussion. And still till today, I completely missed the opportunity of asking my mom any further questions because she has dementia. So there's no information there. So these are generational cycles that I have a passion about breaking. So this is how the communication jars came into effect. So I'm going to introduce them briefly to you, because the story I have shared, but I want to link the product that came out of that story and that blossomed out of that story. So firstly, it is two jars. They are called How School. So you have the kids edition and you have the teens edition. So they are like innovative ways of asking your child how was school, because I'm sure many of you have had that experience of the child gets in the car and you'll be like, "How is school?" And they'll be like, "Fine." And you're like, "Okay, end of conversation." But like these are different ways of approaching that same question so that it blossoms into a conversation. It's like conversation starters. So these are little jars. You can follow on our business WhatsApp to see the prices, or you can email or WhatsApp me and we can have a talk about them. The next one is the family conversation jar. It's also one of the smaller ones, but it is like for families beginning this journey of wanting to improve their conversation. So it's something you can put in the middle of the dinner table. It's something that can be used in family counseling. It's something you can use in your work environment. It's questions that kids can ask their parents and parents can ask their kids, and have that open and honest communication. From there, we have the 70s teen talk. So, this covers various topics that you can discuss with your teenager and allows you to use different questions. The questions are marked color coordinated per category to make it easier for you to only choose one category if you wish. So, the categories are personal, school, social, values, relationships, the future, family. So it is a mini version. It has like 70 something questions for you and your teenager to engage in. And then we come to the final one, which is the big one. So this one is called family discussions. So this is for the family, it's for therapy, it is for the classroom, it is for any unit of people which you regard as your family, whether it's your work family, your personal family, your social family. The topics that it discusses is also getting to know your child, your relationship with your child, family, blended families and adopted families, values and character, school and learning, emotions, friendships and peers, bullying, drug and alcohol use, consent, sex, love, marriage and sexual preference, body image and gender roles, spirituality. It's really that jar that is well rounded to cover so many things, to get to know one another and share your experiences. So, with that being said, I'm going to end part two of the Social What story today on that positive note of saying, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and let us talk. Thank you for watching. Please follow any of the pages to stay up to date with the story as well as the products, because also with the communication jar, there is a new one that will be released soon, and I would like you to know when that happens. Thank you.